Hey everyone, it's Edward from Ideal Direct Home Improvements, and in today's video I'm going to show you how we're going to get this square box of mud into a round 5-gallon bucket so that you can mix it easily and have it ready to go. I'm also going to show you how I mix mud to help you out to get the right consistency for you to do a great job. So stay tuned and enjoy. Just wanted to show you. So the whole point is to get the mud from a square box into a round bucket and not have too much mud left in the bag or the box. I peel back the plastic, make it hook onto the flaps. I grab it, I put it on a 45 light, and slowly the mud will come out of the bag. Once it comes, it falls all out. And that's it. You know, it takes practice, but you can see how clean this bag and the mud that's on here, it all came out. With whatever's left here, because we don't want to waste any, I'm just gonna take the plastic bag off, turn it inside out. Look how nice and clean. All the mud is in the pail now. So now with whatever's left, which is very little, I'm just gonna squeeze it out of the bag. And that's it. The key is to make sure you open the bag the way I did and you put it over the flaps, and then once you try, it takes practice. So that's one. So that's pretty clean. That's it. Let's do another one so I can get to mixing. It'd be nice if they sold them in pails, because we can always use more pails, especially me, because I use the pails for taping and mudding. So I'm gonna unwrap this. You can see, these are the flaps I'm talking about. I'm gonna wrap it over the flaps. Make sure everything's nice and clear. Grab the box. You don't have to do it fast, just do it slow. And that's it. Again, the bag is pretty clean. I'm gonna squish out whatever mud is still there. And I'm gonna mix these two pails now, so then I have mud for the rest of the day and I don't have to stop. That's it. There's virtually no mud on this. If you want, you can take it all off, but that's pretty good. We put it in pails so that we can mix it. Wash my hands so I don't get mud all over the drill. So this is the red box. Good for skimming and even filling the corner beads. It's gonna get a little loud. I wanna mix this up really good before I add water. Make it nice and smooth and creamy. So I'm gonna mix these two buckets for about, I'd say 3-4 minutes to make it nice and smooth and creamy. You see the way it's mixed out of the bag, it's not creamy. We're gonna make this creamy. I'll show you when we're done, and then I'll show you also how much water and how I put in the water. Okay, so I mixed it up for about 4 minutes or so. I didn't add water yet. I just wanted to show everybody how I add water. Now, we add water to this for it just to be easier to work with. There's nothing more, because when you're pulling mud all day, if you leave it just mixed out of the box and you don't add water, you're gonna be killed by the end of the day. So I don't want this too watery, because I don't want to get the mud on the floor, and I want the corner beads to fill in good and then not to take too long to dry. I'm gonna grab my sponge. It's filled with water, 1 full sponge, because I don't want it too wet in each bucket. And then right now, with that water in there, if you start mixing it, I'm gonna show you a little tip. If you start mixing it with this water on top, it's gonna splash all over the place. Make sure your bit's in the drill properly, and we're just gonna plunge the bit into the pail so that we can send some of that water down so it's not all on the top and we don't splash like crazy. When I start to drill up, I'm gonna go slowly. See? That's what happens when you go fast, and it'll just splash everywhere. So let's dip the bit again. This bucket's mixed up, so it's nice and creamy. You can see it's not too wet. It's gonna be perfect to work with. So I'm gonna do the same thing to this one. If I mix this fast, it'll splash. Okay, and just wanted to show you guys, one of the most important things when you're working with mud, you know, you're doing a job like this, is keep your tools clean. That's it. Very simple. Keep your buckets clean, everything clean. Have like a pail of water with a sponge in it, not full, but quarter full, with you at all times. I do. And you know, if I do a lot of wiping and stuff on a certain joint because it's giving me a hard time, once I'm done that joint, I'll go to my bucket. People are probably gonna laugh, but this is important, and I'm telling you, I go to the bucket and I clean it, I wash it, and I wash the hock or the mud pan. Don't let mud dry on anything in your buckets. I'm gonna show you a close-up of a bucket and what not to do. This is really important. Take a look at this bucket, right? This is what not to do. Don't ever leave any mud around the edges and stuff like this all messy, right? This is where you get a lot of scratches and it gets frustrating. This is, nobody ever tells you this, right? So if those dried up, grab a sponge and wipe it and clean it up. Don't let that dry up in your bucket. Trust me, right? Every day, especially after you're done working with the mud, to keep it nice and fresh. I'm gonna show you in a minute, but we're gonna wipe this all down. Now this has been kept really clean. You know, I actually dirtied it just to give you an example. This is what nobody tells you, right? Don't let anything dry up in the bucket. Here's my 6-inch knife. You see all of this? I let that dry up. That's gonna leave scratches everywhere. So we grab our bucket with water that I always have on hand and my sponge, and I make sure I wash that up. Now, as you're using the mud in the bucket, it's gonna go down, right? But it's gonna leave a line. As long as you do what I'm telling you right now, and I'll wipe that, but that's still wet because I've maintained this bucket, right? Grab my 6-inch knife or whatever knife you're using, right? Wipe that. Make sure nothing's up top for it to dry. Keep it nice and clean. Very important. The edges and stuff. Everybody has the habit probably, well, once they get a scratch, they wipe it on the bucket. Don't wipe it on your clean mud bucket. Wipe it inside a different bucket. Now to keep that fresh, right? I'm not gonna put any water in this one right now because it's really wet. I would just grab a sponge and just sprinkle a little bit of water in there. After I clean the bucket, either you grab your hock, that's also clean. See that? That's gonna dirty. That's gonna leave scratches. Keep it clean. I usually just wipe my hock, wet it, and then put it on the bucket that's clean. It creates a seal here just for the next day, or if I'm not using this mud for about an hour or so. If you're leaving it overnight, you sprinkle the water, you wash the bucket, right? Make sure you grab a lid. Make sure the lid is clean. Don't let the lid have any dried crumbs or dry mud, because that's gonna fall into your mud, and then this is gonna be basically contaminated. You're gonna like pull your hair out to try to use this and constantly not have a scratch. So very important, always keep your tools clean, maintain your mud clean, don't drop anything, don't put mud that you had on your caulk. Look right here, I just put that down. This is all dirty. Don't let anything dry up. At the end of the day, you clean everything up. Plain and simple. Grab your clean lid. You can even put a little bit of water on it like this so that the mud doesn't dry up. If this was gonna be stored for a long time, like a few days or a week, I would actually put more water with the sponge in it, and then I would make sure that this is nice and tight. And that's it, very important. If you want a nice job and you're frustrated because of all of the crumbs that you're leaving and all of the scratches that you're doing, this is why homeowners always get frustrated and they don't do such a great job. It's because of this. So keep everything clean, your tools especially, and your mud bucket. Then you'll see. Even if you have to wash it twice a day, 3 times a day, it doesn't matter. I do it. And that's it. People say that if you mix your mud and you go up and down that you're adding air to it. That's a myth. As long as you mix it properly, it should be okay. These are the boxes of mud, right? So if you buy a pail that's ready mixed, see, these boxes were ready mixed, but if you buy a pail and the mud's in the pail, mix the mud up. Very important. Make sure you mix your mud. Even though it says pre-mixed, it doesn't matter. You gotta mix your mud up. That's all there's to it. And then you'll see, when it becomes creamy, it's so much easier to work with and you'll get the hang of it. I hope this video just helped you out. So don't forget, even if you buy a pail of mud and it says pre-mixed, mix your mud. Make it creamy. The amount of water you put in, like these are the big boxes, into a big pail, it all depends. Don't add too much water because then you're just gonna find all the mud all over the floor. I already know that at least one sponge filled with water is good to go, and that's it. If you buy the pre-mixed buckets, I think there's some pre-mixed buckets that are smaller. Don't add a full sponge of water. Just mix it up first and see how it is. When you start to apply it, if it's like really thick, add a little, maybe a 1/4 cup of water, mix it up good. We use a big heavy duty drill and this type of paddle drill bit, but as a do-it-yourselfer, you can use a good strong cordless drill even with a smaller bit, it doesn't matter. As long as you mix your mud, you're gonna find that your day's gonna go a lot better. Well, I really hope that this video helped you out and showed you how I mix mud and have it all ready to go. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out our playlists on all kinds of home improvements, finished carpentry, drywall mudding and taping. So check it out. And I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.